Hi everybody, it's Nikki here and welcome to a bookish video. So today we're just going to go straight into my November and December wrap up. So I don't think I did a wrap up for November before I took my hiatus, little break from YouTube. So we're going to quickly go through November's wrap up first. This is where I talk about all of the books that I read in the month, and I give you my thoughts and ratings for each book. So now my November stats are, I read a total of 8 books. My physical pages was 1,369 and I managed to read 352 pages of ebooks. Which is awesome because my ebook numbers for the year 2021 is minimally low, and that's something I want to change in 2022. The audio hours of books that I own a physical copy of but chose to listen to the audiobook was 23 hours and 12 minutes. And I listened to 0 hours of books that I do not own on audio. My ratings, I had 2 5 stars, I had 1 4 stars, I had 5 3 stars, and then no 2 stars, no 1 stars, and I did not DNF any books. So all really good ratings in November. I really enjoyed everything that I read. The genres, I read no thrillers, are we surprised? I had 1 contemporary, 1 classic, 6 middle grades. That might have something to do with the fact that I took part in the last ever Believeathon. So that was a given, really. No non-fictions, which I am sad about. I do try and read at least 1 a month. No mangas or graphic novels, and no fantasy. That is strange for me because I always read fantasy. It's my favourite genre, so I'm quite surprised that in November I did not read a single YA or adult fantasy. It baffles me. It's the only month I've ever read 0 fantasy. The origins of the books that I read, 1 was borrowed and 7 I own. The format of the books that I read 4 physically, I listened to 3 audibly, and I read 1 e-bookily. It's my word, I made it up. The bindings of the physical of the books that I read, none were hardback and 7 were paperback. Obviously the ebook one doesn't count. And the gender of the authors that I read, 3 were male and 5 were female. So yeah, we had a good mix. It was a different month. So let's get on to the actual books I read. The first book I read was Mermaid Curse, the Silver Dolphin by Louise Cooper. I loved it. I absolutely loved this story. This was a 5 stars for me. My notes for this one say exciting, interesting plot and characters, and a cliffhanger ending. I absolutely love this. I went straight on to Amazon to have a look for the sequels to this, and I think there's about 4 in the series that I could find, and I could find books 2 and 4, I think, but I could not find book 3. I think book 3 was the hard one to find, and if I could find it, it was a lot more expensive than the others. So I don't know whether I will continue the series or not, because these retail for $5.99, and I think it was book 3 or book 4 was definitely retailing for at least twice that price or 3 times that price. So I don't know whether there was an issue with the publishing of that one that made it a lot rarer than the others. But yeah, I don't know what to do about this one, but I absolutely loved this first book in the series and gave it 5 stars. The next book I read was one of Gavin's favourites, so I had to read it for Believeathon, and that was Rainbow Grey by Laura Ellen Anderson. Gavin actually makes a cameo appearance in this book. It has the beautiful rainbow sprayed edges. My notes on this one say wonderful artwork, which is a given. Laura Ellen Anderson is an amazing artist. Adventures, great characters and magic. Now, I believe that there is a sequel to this one. I don't know if it's been published as of yet or not. I think I will pick it up, just simply because they're kind of cutesy stories to read. It does read a little young for me, because obviously this is a children's book and it is aimed at that younger audience, I believe. So it does feel a bit more childlike for me. But you know what? I actually did enjoy this. So I may be persuaded to pick up the sequel, but I'm not like in any rush. I gave it a 4-star rating. The next one I read was the third book in the Skullduggery Pleasant series, which is The Faceless Ones by Derek Landy. My notes on this one say, the plot is interesting, but not enough to make me too bothered about continuing the series. The audiobooks are good though. So yes, this is a very long series, book 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's shows 11 books in the Skullduggery Pleasant series on the back. So it is a very, very long series. If I was to find the audiobooks continuing on like Scribd or on my BorrowBox app, which is from the library, I might continue with this series, but physically purchasing these, probably not. I got this, I got the first 3 books in a box set pretty cheaply from Books to Doors. So I picked it up thinking it was only a trilogy, and then discovering that it was a lot longer series. The next book I read was Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is one of those beautiful sprayed edges ones from Waterstones. My notes on this say, predictable. Daisy Jones just a toddler throwing a tantrum. Fave character is Camilla. The extra bandmates just filler fodder. Yeah, I gave this 3 stars. Please don't hate me. Please, please don't hate me. Basically, my feelings on this was that, yes, some people might see Daisy Jones as knowing what she wants and going for it, and not taking anybody telling her no as a good thing. But for me, she just came across as a toddler having a tantrum. I will have my own way, or I'm not going to do it at all kind of way. And sometimes she didn't take advice that she was given by people in the business. And I just, yeah, I knew what was going to happen. In the end, I knew what was going to happen. I did not see who was the interviewer. I will give you that. Again, Taylor Jenkins Reid tends to do this. She, right at the end, will reveal something that you didn't know all along. I did not know who the interviewer was. Because it is sat out in like an interview format. I didn't guess that bit, but I did know what was going to happen with Daisy Jones. I could see that happening. So yeah, it's just too predictable. Her attitude was a bit immature for me. It wasn't my favourite. It was 3 stars for me. I will be passing this on. So if any of my close friends would like to take this edition from me, be sure to put your request in the comment section down below. I'm afraid if you're outside of the UK, I won't be able to send this to you because the cost alone would just not be worth it. But if you're in the UK, one of my close friends maybe wants this, let me know. The next book I read was Rise of the Jumbies, which is the second book to The Jumbies by Tracy Baptiste. And we have a kind of mermaid creature, snake-like mermaid creature there. My notes on this says, mentions about black slaves being thrown overboard and becoming mermaids. A good story about friendship and acceptance, yes. So this one is kind of following sort of African, is it? Or Caribbean yeah, Caribbean kind of folklore, and this idea that black slaves who were thrown overboard when they were being transported to other countries for slavery, when things were going bad on the ship, you know, the ship was going to sink, the slave owners or the ship owners would throw the black people overboard to lighten the load, sort of thing. And it uses this idea that those black people then turned into mermaids, which I really liked. It's a beautiful idea to bring these people back to life, I suppose. Really, really good story. I really did like it. I gave it a 3 stars, and I went out and I bought the 3rd book in this. I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy, if the 3rd book is the final book, but I did go out and purchase the 3rd book because I really did enjoy it. The next book I read was The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. My notes on this say... the book humanised the Phantom, so the fear was less for me. Good audiobook, more like the film with Gerard Butler than the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. So yes, this book, obviously with the way that it showed the Phantom, was a bit more, it made him a bit more human to me. It made him a bit more of an actual person rather than this mystical, magical, unknown person hiding and disappearing in the opera house. So my fear of the Phantom, the whole atmosphere around the Phantom of the Opera, was sort of taken away from me when I read this book. I absolutely love the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. I have watched the Gerard Butler film of The Phantom of the Opera. That's how I could say it's more like that than the musical. But I love both. My preferred is the Andrew Lloyd Webber, because let's face it. Oh, that's where that went. And the last physical book that I read, oh, that's where that went as well. I'm finding bookmarks all over the place. The last book I read, again for Believathon, I had to, was Frostheart Book 3, Rise of the World Eater by Jamie Littler. Again, their special Waterstones special edition. This is an awesome trilogy. If you have not picked this up yet, you really, really should. I gave this one 5 stars. It was an epic ending. My notes say a great ending to the trilogy, exciting, action-packed, emotional, and would love to reread again. So yes, this is one of those trilogies that I am going to keep and I'm going to reread again in the future. Try and read them a little bit closer to each other than I have read it the first time, because obviously I had to wait for each book to come out each year. So I've been reading this for the last sort of like 2-3 years now. But yeah, I loved this ending. It was very emotional. I don't think I actually shed tears, but I definitely had a lump in my throat while reading this. It's just such an awesome found family kind of story, and I really, really enjoyed this ending. I will say that book 3 for me was probably the strongest of all 3 books. I feel like the first book had great potential but didn't quite get there. The second book was really getting into the action and I really enjoyed that one. But this third one just pulled at everything. It had the action, it had the atmosphere, it had the emotion, it just had everything that I wanted. So each book has progressively got much, much better for me. And yeah, I can't wait to reread it again sometime in the future. So yes. And the last book that I read was my ebook, which was my poll pick, and the poll, the majority of people chose Wonderscape, and I gave Wonderscape by Jennifer Bell 3 stars. My notes say Jumanji meets Ready Player One, but better. Puzzles the kids actually solve, not just lucky coincidences. Great story for kids to learn about real heroes. Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I I'm not really a gamer. I don't really call myself a gamer. I like playing board games and I like playing Animal Crossing, but I wouldn't say I'm a gamer because I don't play anything other than that. I mean, I play games. I enjoy games. So I'm a gamer. I am a gamer, aren't I? But I'm not like one for like the PS4 or, you know, anything like that. And to be honest, with my Switch, I only play Animal Crossing. I might play Mario Kart every now and again, but not very often. So I'm very particular about the games that I play. But this book kind of took everything that I like about games, that puzzle solving, that learning something new kind of thing, and put it all into this one book, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I have heard that there is potentially a sequel coming out to Wonderscape, and I'm a little bit excited about reading that one. So I know I only gave this one 3 stars, but looking back and remembering it, I do remember it with fondness. So I may be persuaded to purchase a hard copy of Wonderscape itself and then the sequel as well. But I read it on ebook, so yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. So that was November's wrap up for you. So yeah, do you know what? I'm going to do December's wrap up in a separate video because otherwise it's going to take so long to edit this video and so long to upload it as well. So I'll do December's in a separate video, but I'll try and get them uploaded pretty close to each other so we're not hanging around watching these catch-up videos for too long. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!